So what happens when you leave your grocery row garden alone from fall all the way until summer the next year? Let's go take a look at my grocery row garden, which somehow got neglected. We'll start here with the Bradford pear that was grafted over with a kefir pear. We did this last spring, as you can see. That knot right there has almost healed all the way around. One little piece of scion wood. It's quite tall now. Very proud of that one. And now normally, this area right here would be garden beds, just standard garden beds. You see we've got some velvet beans that reseeded in there. We have a lot of sweet potatoes that have come back in here. And then as you go through here, this is all our trees, which are supposed to be kept small. And then underneath them we grow vegetables. But we bought a feed and seed. Last summer the deal was in progress and then we closed in September. And so because we did that, we really had very little time to work out here on the grocery rows like we'd been doing before. All the effort went into the store. So you can see we've got Musa Bazju, the Japanese fiber banana. We've got these beautiful mulberries that are way too big for this space. We've actually pruned these back multiple times. They were pruned back this last summer and it's actually time to do it again. We are past the solstice now, which it's not too late for this area. But we're gonna get in here and clean this up so we can access and open up the light again. But right now it's very interesting to see, without any feeding or really any intervention other than knocking the weeds down once or twice with a string trimmer, a couple of trips through with a machete, we've got all these Apios americana vines that are growing. That's the American groundnut. We've got a very happy Simpson stopper right here at the edge. We've got taro coming back. We've got lots of mulberry. These things are great. They don't look as good on film as they do in person. You start pointing the camera up at the sky, it's not as pretty as it could be. Look at these. These groundnut are just absolutely taking off in here. They apparently love the fertility of these beds. That's a chestnut shrub that we cut down. Right here we've got seedling peach. We've harvested some peaches off of here, and the birds have gotten some. They're not very big peaches, but they have a nice flavor. That seedling peach should be cut way down too. It's getting to be somewhat out of control. There's the Dioscorea alata, the true yam. This is actually much prettier than my food forest because it started with so much fertility in the ground that everything that's in here, all the perennials in here are just going crazy. Like, look at the size of these. These are turmeric. And I've cut down that dwarf mulberry before and it keeps coming back. That's a white mulberry there. It's called ivory white. I got it from Burnt Ridge Nursery. At the base of it right there, you see that big clump. That's all arrowroot. That's a nitrogen fixing Elaeagnus next to it. More turmeric. And then the taro. That's a shell apple that needs some more light in here. Rose hip roses. Look at these figs. More turmeric, plum. And there are some weeds in here, but the perennials are beating all of it. This is a mess. Muscadine grape fighting with American groundnut yet again. Got lots and lots of American groundnut. We're gonna have to dig some of that up and eat it this year because it's kind of insane. It's another seedling peach right there. More turmeric. These zinnias self-seeded all over here amidst the weeds. All that is the mess of our ube trellises. I didn't get to dig them this last year, and they just grew back over and knocked the trellises down. They're just still going. Got sweet potatoes coming back here. They don't really make much if you just let them grow. Grapes. See? Some muscadines. More grapes. This one I stuck on just one pole just to see how it would do. It's kind of funny. It's a grape tree. See these grapes? They're all up under there. There's sugar cane right here. Yams growing up this Rachel mulberry. It's beautiful. I'm going to take you around to the other side. This is the Illinois everbearing mulberry, which is absolutely insanely big. And I really should cut it way back. Fortunately, I've got plenty of time to do that, and it's easy to cut them back. There's some Jerusalem artichokes right here. We've got some of this railroad vine, which I really don't like. It's a pain. There is a well-behaved little pear right here. And then look at all that turmeric. Tons of turmeric. Turmeric's really easy to grow if you have the right climate for it. Super simple. These are Chinese yams. They used to be on a trellis right here, and I took the trellis down, and now they're just absolutely everywhere. Definitely not invasive, guys. That's definitely not an entire blanket of Chinese yams that started themselves here. That's just violets or something. Yeah, that's what it is. It's violets. It's a native. Definitely not invasive. We got a fig right here. This one froze to the ground. It's coming back. We had a kind of a rough winter. Look at these guys. We've got blooms all over the place next to that bucket, which is not good for my pride right now. Kind of ugly looking. And then as you come out here, you come to where the apple orchard is. We had a windstorm the other day that knocked a couple of the apples sideways. I've got to come out and stake them back up. We've almost got some apples. All right, back on the other side here. The next row over. Biomass canna. Canna musifolia, but I like to call it the biomass canna because we chop it and drop it all the time. I'm going to see if I can get set up to do a video when it's cool and get somebody to help me film that. It's hard right now with a new baby to actually get out and get my camera lady out here, so I'll get one of my kids to help. There's another one of those beautiful bananas, Musa Bazju, the fiber banana. Another massive mulberry tree, which is about 20 something feet tall now. I could leave these on this side because they block the western sun, so I deliberately put the mulberries over here, and I don't mind that they're getting big. Some of these trees in the middle have to stay small, but they actually help us significantly having them here. Nanking cherry. The big beautiful bananas. And as we come through here, let's see if I can make it through. These are some gingers. Probably butterfly ginger. I think this one's butterfly. We'll see when it blooms. Taro. There's my meadow creature. Sugar cane. Another mulberry. This is Dioscorea pentaphylla. The 5-leaf yam. I mean, you see what's going on here? Do you see how much life is in this space? It's like a beautiful jungle of food. There's a lot of useful medicinal and edible species in here. And we haven't taken care of it. So that's the wonderful thing about the perennials. Once I open up some light in here, we can overplant it again. That's the Rachel mulberry that has gotten absolutely insanely huge. We did have those late frosts I was mentioning. Those late frosts messed us up this year. And the late frost meant that all of these mulberries were already in fruit and they froze. They all froze off and froze back. Failed to give us hardly any fruit this year. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm going to see if I can go through this tall grass right here on the outside. I need to bring the mower through here again if possible. See how big the leaves are on that Rachel mulberry? It's beautiful. But look at it from this side. It's just like looking into a dense tropical jungle. My wife joked that we used to live in the Caribbean, and then when we moved to lower Alabama, we made it the Caribbean again. She said, you just brought your jungle garden, and you brought your jungle plants, and you made it work again. Zone 8B. You can't grow everything that I grew down there, but I like the sentiment. I love the look of the jungle, and we're just warm enough here to pull some of this stuff off. The combination of mulberries and the fiber bananas really have a nice look. I could just cut in right through the jungle. And you can tell that there's pathways through here. It's still a linear system, but it's really getting to be like a food forest, especially with the staggered plantings where it doesn't feel like it's very straight. If we just cut our way through here and made it into a food forest, we could do that. I don't want to do that though, because I need some long-term experimentation with the grocery row garden. So this year I'm just going to say, okay, one year we just let it go for a year and saw what happened. But I do have to make sure I do the summer pruning, because that's kind of important. If these things keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that can be a problem. But the extra shade also helps keep the weeds down. The sunny areas end up full of weeds. All this weedy grass is a problem. It needs to be cardboarded down and mulched over or yanked out. That is the flying dragon trifoliate orange. Doesn't make very good fruit, but it looks cool. So anyhow, that's what the grocery row garden looks like right now. I would say it looks like about the best food forest we ever built, but it's not supposed to be a food forest. It just seems like whatever garden I plant turns into a food forest. Look at that. Perennial cucumber, Coccinea grandis. This was a nice surprise. I planted one last year. I did not think it would come back here, and it came back from the ground. So it's actually coming back from the ground. It might even be might even have some cucumbers in here. I have to come back and check. That's seedling nectarine that I cut down horribly not that long ago. There it is again. It's like almost to the same height I cut it at. It's ridiculous. Super vigorous. But anyhow, when I do my pruning through here, I will take you with me. I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you see what was going on, and just tell you, you know, you may not have things perfect, but if you plant perennials, fruit trees, shrubs, roots, you're going to have some food and some greenery. And to think that this entire area was a patch of grass, bare grass, with a few dogs that just were fenced in out here. And now it's a food jungle. It really does feel like the Caribbean. Just need to get out here with a machete and clean it up. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to learn more about grocery row gardening, check out my little booklet. Though this doesn't look like it should, it did exactly what I said it would, and it became a linear food forest. And we can put it right back into grocery row gardening and get vegetables out of here again with just a lot of work. But we can do it. Catch you next time, and until then, may your thumbs always be green. It is alive! I have made yet another forest. And until then, may your thumbs always be green. Holy cow, the mosquitoes!